Hi, my name is Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by...
Chantal.
Steve.
Amy.
Jack.
Mark.
And we've just finished playing Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Now, it's a social deduction game, essentially. We all deal out secret roles, first of all, and one of us is the forensic investigator, or scientist, who gets to open their eyes and see everything as it happens. But everyone else has secret roles. I'm just going to ask them to reveal them temporarily, just so we can see who is the murderer in that last game we played. So you can see you've got a murderer over here, and there was an accomplice for the murderer, but everyone else is either a witness or an investigator who's like a good guy. So if you flip them over, and we'll sort of pretend that no one knows who everyone else is. You all start off by closing your eyes, except for me, because I get to see everything as the forensic scientist. And the murderer will point to one of the sort of reddy browny cards and one of the greyy greeny cards. And those are the two things that have been used to commit the murder. So in this case, Amy's chosen the notebook, and the murder was done unarmed. She gets to look around at all the other possibilities at people, and that's going to potentially affect the decision. But then the murderer and the accomplice will both close their eyes and stick their thumbs out, and the witness will get to see who they are. Obviously, the murderer and accomplice also get to open eyes and see who each other are. So they know who each other are, and they're on the same team. And the witness is trying to get them caught out. So then, having seen all this, I'm trying to communicate to all the good guys what the murder was. So in this case, we have one of these mandatory cause of death things that's always going to appear. I then pick from 4 possible location tiles, so I might think this is the most appropriate one, and then you get 4 random extra things popping out. So possible victims, or where it's happening, or weather, or something else. But these are just random things that are taking place each time. And then I take these bullets and I stick them on the things that I think are the most likely. So I'm thinking about the notebook and being unarmed, and I might think, well, what's the most likely cause of death for that? Maybe it's suffocation. Unarmed makes me think they're strangled or something. And I go through and I carry on sticking these things down here. So maybe it's dry if it's just unarmed. And maybe the best location would be school, because it was a notebook. Maybe I think it's the school. And while I'm putting these bullets down, I can't say anything, but then all the good guys are kind of looking at these and thinking, oh, maybe it's this or that. And we have a discussion phase where they're trying to work out what the 2 murder weapons are. The murderer and the accomplice, though, are trying to put everyone off the track by trying to indicate it would be something else. If anyone thinks any of the good guys think they know what it is, they use their vote. They only get 1 vote, and they kind of say, right, I think I know what it is, and they call it out. If they're right, they end the game, and if they're wrong, then they just they don't get another guess. You can kind of carry on going until everyone's had 1 guess at least. If you manage to succeed and guess the correct pair, though, the murderer and the accomplice get 1 guess to figure out who the witness was. I think, was it Steve this time? So if Steve is too helpful in pointing out who the bad guys are, then if they manage to guess him, then they actually win the game. So they have a final chance, a bit like Avalon if you played that, to guess who the witness is. All right, what do we think?
I love the design. I love the fact that it's very strong thematically, even though I'm not quite sure about the distinction between these 2 categories of cards, but I think it works very well. I also think that there are easier social deduction games to start with. So if you want to introduce a new gamer, for example, to those kind of games, they are probably easier games. But this one has got like a really good replayability. So I would strongly advise to play it, yes.
Steve?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think that it's less argumentative than some of these other social deduction games. You've got this discussion phase, so once Jonathan thinks we've had enough time, he'll basically go around to each other and just say, what do you think? And this is not an argument. I'll say something and people won't start arguing with me. I'll just say, this is what I think, and she'll say, this is what I think, and so on. And you get an idea of what everyone's thoughts are, so you might be able to think, well, they're agreeing with each other. Maybe they're the bad guys, or maybe they're just on a better track than you're on yourself. So I really like that, yeah. I really like the fact you can choose, and effectively the order you put your bullets on means that certain clues are much stronger than others. So in the game we just played, the lead investigator put it down on school straight away, and what was the other thing you put down? Student and school. So we're like, notebook. But then Jack had a book as well, so we were looking straight at these 2, and it made them really hard to try and find out who the witness was, because everyone was on them straight away. It's really good.
Amy?
Yeah, I really, really like this game. It's a nice social deduction game with a good kind of weighting on time. There's different, one game took us literally about 2 minutes, another game took us 15. Still not a long game, which is nice. There's not a lot of setup, which is awesome, because if you're in a social situation where you need to dash quickly or something that could be packed up really tight to go on holiday with as well, which is what I'm always thinking about, is how can I fit this in my handbag with using up as little space as possible. This would be one that we could pop in really easily. And like you said, doesn't cause many arguments, which is nice because you do get your fair share of just time to think about your own opinion and let that be known. Whether that makes you more or less suspicious is down to the way you have said things.
Okay, Jack?
Yeah, I had good fun playing it. I do like the fact that the lead investigator, it's not just like the order in which they place things, but it's how like the pacing of it. So if they take a lot of time thinking of something, you know that one's probably a looser connection than any other. But if they go for it straight away, you know that they know exactly what they're on about there, because they don't get their choice of the 4 cards that are placed down afterwards. I also like that when everyone is having their like sort of their opinion, it's very cooperative in the way that you're not, you know, if one person says like I think it's this and someone else disagrees, they can just use their vote and they'll still be in the game helping people out, but you'll know for sure whether they're right or wrong, so they can cancel themselves out on that.
Okay. Mark?
I think as the murderer can be unlucky. Sometimes the cards just fall against you, and particular combos and that's just the nature of the way that it works, and it's random, and these are so weird that sometimes you just get the perfect one at the perfect time if you're the forensic scientist. Despite that, though, it's probably my favourite party game. So I don't mind the fact that sometimes I over quickly because I'm quite happy just to play it again.
Okay. Rating out of 10?
I would give it a 9 because I did really enjoy it.
Wow.
8.5.
Okay. Amy?
I'd give it an 8.
I think when you've played this a lot, you've got this meta game of trying to protect or find the witness. If the cards come out in bad order for the murderer, they go, right, I'm probably going to get died. Let's work out who the witness is. Let's work out that the witness is only picking on me. And that's really good. And so we had lots of games, the games that end up quick, you like a quick early guess. It's like, is that because he's a witness? Is that because he's trying to protect the witness? Does he know who the witness is? Or is it a random guess? So I really like that. I think, like Mark, I really like this game. I've gone 8.5 out of 10.
Chantal?
8.5 as well, yes.
Okay. I'm not a big fan generally of social deduction games, and when I try and think about why that is, I think it's something to do with you often end up with that argumentative stage in the game where effectively one person's saying, you're the baddie, and they're saying, no, I'm not the baddie, you're the baddie, and you always find that a little bit frustrating, particularly because with some of the social deduction games, there's often not a lot to go on. This one feels at a much calmer pace, I suppose. It's more relaxed and you're thinking carefully all the time, and there isn't so much just wild accusations flying around the table. So I loved it, really, really enjoyed it. I'd happily play this one and again, I think. I'd be on an 8.5 out of 10 as well. All right, thanks very much for watching. That was Deception, Murder in Hong Kong.